Hypnosis is actually something that we experience every day. It's simply a state where you're very relaxed and focused on one particular thing. And all of the other things around just kind of fade into the background and barely noticeable. So for example, when you're daydreaming or watching a movie or reading a book. Lots of people have said that they're going for a long drive, they get to their destination and they just realize that they don't even realize that they remember how they got there. That's actually a state of hypnosis. And unfortunately, when people hear the word hypnosis, they associate that with stage hypnosis. And hypnotherapy is very different. Stage hypnosis is purely for entertainment. Hypnotherapy and the purpose of hypnotherapy is based generally around our patterns that we've learned over time, our habits, and the emotions that are associated with that. As humans, since we've been born, because of the people that we've interacted with and the experiences that we've had, we develop coping mechanisms and patterns that serve to keep us safe. And as we grow, sometimes those patterns don't serve us well anymore. So that's where things like hypnotherapy come into play. Now, there's definitely questions and reservations that people would have when they hear the word hypnosis or hypnotherapy. They immediately think that they're going to lose control and they're going to black out or space out. And it's actually quite the opposite. You're actually tuned in and focused on, during the session, we focus on whatever your goal is. Another thing that people have concern about and that they ask me about is regarding privacy. Some people are just not comfortable and think that when they're under hypnosis that they're afraid that they might say something that they're not comfortable talking about. And the good thing is that with hypnotherapy, that's not the case. With hypnotherapy, we're not concerned about the past. So you can divulge as little or as much as you like. A little bit of background is helpful. Through the beginning of the screening process, we talk a little bit about what your goal is, so give me a little bit of an idea of what we need to work on. But other than that, it's really, as a hypnotist, to guide the person into a relaxed state, get them focused on what their goal is, and we're not looking back at the reasons why we have these patterns or habits. We're looking forward at what the goal is and what new habits we can develop to make the change that we're looking for. Except if you're interested in looking into having a past life regression session, then that's always fun to go back in time. Yes and no. It all depends on what the goal is and how open you are to change. Who would not be a good candidate would be when there's any concerns that should be passed on to an actual medical professional. So whether that, we can deal a little bit with pain management, but for the most part, that is something that should be dealt with a medical professional. For PTSD, major anxiety, especially if there's concerns of self-harm, those kinds of things. For the most part, the clients that are good for hypnotherapy is when it revolves around habits and the emotions that are connected. Yeah, hypnotherapy can be beneficial in many ways. I think the top ones are, well, especially in today's age, stress is up there, fears of some kind, common ones, fear of water, fear of flying, fear of heights. Actually, people who have fear of medical appointments. And there's people who need help with grief, having difficulty getting over the loss of a loved one, betrayal. this forgiveness, grudges perhaps, even mundane habits like nail biting and that kind of thing. And lots of people have heard, of course, of using hypnosis to help with smoking or vaping. We can certainly do that. And then there's also things like self-confidence. This is actually good for 12 and up, and it's actually wonderful to be able to work with youth, especially in that time of their life when they're hitting puberty, right? They're dealing with all the pressures of school, peer pressure from their friends and their schoolmates, whatever's going on maybe at home, to be able to help them through some of those emotions and through that time. Sometimes it can be very beneficial for those too. People being more open, being willing to try different things, and this sense of being more open to new age, if that's what we call it, these different natural holistic ways of improving our overall well-being. Every day as human beings, just trying to be just that much better. And with hypnotherapy or therapy in general, it doesn't have the stigma like it used to, where it doesn't, we don't have to be concerned that, oh, we're going to therapy, there must be something wrong, because we know that's not the case. And people are realizing that more. And so just in general, again, just people being more open to trying new things. And with hypnotherapy, being able to focus on our brain, our thoughts, and our old patterns and coping mechanisms. And when that is something that you want to focus on, to learn new habits, to move forward, to make you just that much better, if you're finding that there's something in your life that is hindering you from being able to accomplish something, but usually that's emotion derived, fear of failure, self-confidence, things like that, and that's where hypnotherapy comes into play. For anyone who hasn't tried hypnotherapy, just try it. It could actually be fun, and you would be surprised, just as easy as you learned other things that you've done in your life, you can also learn new things. And through hypnotists like myself and guiding the client in this relaxed hypnosis state enables you to learn these things just that much faster.